Memories make us who we are. They are what help us understand the world and shape our vision. They are what we remember and what we want to forget, explains Angela Wise, neurologist and poet. Formed, archived and discarded by the brain, in an extremely complex network of neurons, memories are essential for actions ranging from learning to the ability to create emotional bonds. Understand how memory is stored within the brain, one of the most complex organs in the human body, it is necessary to think of it as a network. The exact storage locations are still a mystery to researchers, but some main mechanisms are known to science. If memory were a university, the hippocampus, a neurological structure that strongly participates in the processes of emotion, learning and memory, would be the dean's office, which is responsible for managing things. The hippocampus is a small structure that manages memories. But the memories themselves are stored in different areas of the brain, including the cortex, outer layer, and deeper regions, subcortex, depending on the type of memory. It is the hippocampus that decides what is important to memorize and where this information will be stored in the brain. External factors also influence. All brain activity is based on a key figure in the brain's architecture, which is the neuron. What will define the capacity to store information is, firstly, where the neurons are. Then, it is the way in which the neurons are organized and to which other neurons they are interconnected. There are also genetic factors that influence this brain architecture and differ, individually, one memory from another. The development of a person's brain begins during pregnancy, continues through childhood and adolescence, and reaches biological maturation at age 22. External factors influence, such as education, social contact and musical, sporting and linguistic stimuli. They all function as traces that, little by little, form a single map, your memory, drawn in a brain complexly organized by all your experiences. The different types of memories. We have the short term. They only last 3 to 6 hours. Among them, there are the following types. Immediate stores information for a short time, such as a phone number that was just said or the name of someone you were introduced to at the moment. Working temporarily stores information to perform cognitive tasks, such as reading, understanding another person's language, learning, or reasoning. And the long-lasting ones. They can last days, years, or for the rest of your life. Among them, there are episodic. These are those that have a personal reference, such as the day someone met their wife/husband, the taste of good food they ate, or details of a graduation party. Semantics. This is the information about the world that we acquire throughout our lives. For example, knowing that a red light indicates that you should stop, remembering how to speak words in a language in which you are not native, or that the capital of Japan is Tokyo. Non-declarative. These are memories that cannot be counted or taught orally, such as motor memories, which retain information about how to walk or talk. Now that we know a little more about how our brain works, let's look at techniques for a longer-lasting and consistent memory. Memory Palace technique, also known as the method of loci. Step-by-step application of the technique. Choose a familiar location and detail its landmarks. B. Associate the items to be memorized with each landmark in a visual and whimsical way. W. Mentally walk around the location, revisiting each landmark and recovering associations to remember the items. Vivid image association. How it works. This technique involves associating information you want to memorize with vivid, memorable images. The more extravagant and absurd the mental image, the easier it will be to remember it. What it's for, vivid image association is effective in making information more memorable, as it takes advantage of the brain's ability to process and recall images more effectively than words or abstract concepts. Mnemonics. How it works: mnemonics are memory devices that help you remember complex information through acronyms, phrases, or stories. For example, the phrase "my grandpa was always very strong" can be used to remember the planets of the solar system in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. What they are for: mnemonics are useful for simplifying and encoding complex information so that it is easier to remember. They work by creating a memorable association between the elements to be remembered and a phrase or keyword. Spaced repetition. How it works: spaced repetition involves reviewing information over time, spacing out breaks between study sessions. This technique takes advantage of the psychological phenomenon known as the forgetting curve, which shows that information is better retained when it is reviewed at intervals spaced over time. What it's for: spaced repetition is effective for consolidating long-term memory, ensuring that information is retained for longer and is retrieved more easily when needed. Active learning. How it works: active learning involves actively engaging with study material, practicing summarizing, asking questions, teaching others, or practically applying concepts. What it is for: this technique is effective because it requires a deeper understanding of the material, thus increasing retention and comprehension. Active learning is more effective than simple passive reading or listening. Each of these memorization techniques can be applied alone or in combination, depending on individual preferences and the type of information you are trying to memorize. Try different approaches and find what works best for you.